Hello, I am Jeremy. That is SP3. This is FMC. It is August 22nd, Tuesday. How are you, SP3?
I am splendid. You can now refer to me as SP3, aka Jerome YouTube, aka the Triple C of FMC, the charming challenge champ of FMC. Yes, it is me.
Another person who uses triple C, Henry Cejudo of UFC fame. And I'm pretty sure like cringe is one of those triple C. It's like
Well, it's not for me.
The cringe. I'm pretty sure it's like the cringe champion Cejudo. That's his triple C. So
no one cares about that guy. No one cares about that guy. They care about me. It's all about me. Jerome YouTube is back, baby.
We're here to talk about some. Refuse to use that name. Refuse. No, I'm not doing that.
We are here to talk about some NBA. Apparently, James Harden is still whining and complaining. I've reached the point of not caring anymore, folks, but I will try my best to talk about it with Jeremy here. But I'm ready to talk about some Challenge USA Season 2 with two of the best episodes of the Challenge. And the person that I've been on record on this show saying that I hate made me have an inner monologue during episode 4 where I was like, oh my God, I love this person now. I love this person now. Creating all the drama, all the chaos, and it benefited my favorite person, Wes. So it was a great episode.
Did it benefit Wes? In a way it did.
He was going into the elimination if he didn't do that. Out of all the people to save him, the person that he said, you're not very good. I'm not targeting you. In total madness, Josh is the person that saved him and said that he would vouch for him and do everything it took to not get him into the elimination, and he got the job done.
I sent the link to our pal Share Delaware already. We'll start with the challenge because let's be honest about this James Harden stuff. Well, maybe we'll get into it. Well, it's in the thumbnail.
We can get into it right now. It's literally going to take us 5 minutes. By the time Cher decides to press the link and come on here, we'll probably be done with this whole conversation. Basically, the NBA is investigating James Harden for being a dumbass.
Yeah. But he said, Daryl Moore was a liar. Apparently the lie that he told was, I'm going to trade James Harden quickly. It has not been quickly. It is anything but Emmanuel quickly out here. It's
like if you were gonna say this, you should have had the backup plan of saying, "Oh, I had a chance to make this certain amount of money, and he said to opt in, and he would trade me.
No, because that's
my
like
no deal.
That's like
you have to have
and stuff.
Yeah, you have to have an elaborate lie. If you were that. You can't say the lie is that, oh, he said he would trade me quickly. It's not quickly. Like, what?
Now, you can't say all that because then you're getting into like tampering and promises that technically should not be made in the world of NBA. You cannot promise a player, at least I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm completely off base here, but I'm pretty sure there's some type of language that says, hey, you can't tell a player sign this deal and then next year we'll sign you to this deal type of thing. Like you can't do that. I think that became a thing when people threw out the hypothetical of like, why doesn't LeBron just like take a $2 million contract and then you can sign all his friends? LeBron's making enough money. He doesn't need to make $40 million. Like LeBron's fine. Why wouldn't you just take less money and then sign all your friends? Or why doesn't LeBron take this money and then why don't other guys take less money? Why doesn't Chris Bosh? I remember this was a thing with the Heatles. Like, why doesn't Chris Bosh take less money? And then basically LeBron and Dwayne Wade pay him under the table of their money. Like you can't do that kind of stuff. That is illegal in the world of the NBA. So James Harden cannot come out.
Professional sport, for that matter.
Yes, James Harden cannot come out and say, "Hey, yeah, I was promised that if I take less money, I would get this max deal the following year." or if I opt into my contract, I would be traded on this. Like even saying I'm going to trade you quickly is kind of a little suspect. A little suspect because he opted in with the principle of being traded. If I'm
Yeah.
the NBA, I'm telling him, don't fucking opt in. If you didn't want to be
Exactly.
there, if you didn't want to be there, don't opt in. You're a free agent. Go where you want to go. Sign for how much you want to sign for. Like, just don't opt in. That's what I'm telling him if I'm the NBA.
Yeah, that's why I said this is a non-story of oh, the NBA is investigating James Harden. It's like, what? You investigating he's a dumbass? Yeah, he is. Because
Yeah.
he didn't have a backup for this. He said this, he said it with his chest, repeated himself when he said it, went out on other interviews and stood by what he was saying, and now he's basically painted himself into a corner.
Yeah, and that's where we're at with James Harden. I think some of the onus falls on the Clippers because if the Clippers want James Harden that bad, or if Daryl Morey wants to trade James Harden, you still need a good offer out there. If you're not happy with the offer, you're under no obligation to trade this player. He opted in. He's under an obligation with this contract to show up, to attend training camp, to whatever it might be. Daryl Morey is not under any obligation to trade him quickly.
No.
Even if he said he's going to trade him quickly, okay, that's a promise you want to try to keep. But if the offers suck, you're not just going to trade him to trade him. This is what I've been saying this whole time for months now when it comes to Lillard and when it comes to Harden. These teams have no obligation to trade these players for pennies on the dollar. If they're not happy with the
Yeah.
trade, they don't have to make the trade. Clearly, the Clippers deal sucks, especially if they're not getting Terrence Mann. I think even if they are getting Terrence Mann, it's not that great of a deal. And clearly, the Miami deal is something Portland is not happy with. So why trade them? The problem is no other team is coming out and making offers. And so then it becomes basically just a game of chicken of, well, this is the only offer on the table. No other team's making an offer. We just got to wait. Hopefully, another team makes an offer. Maybe another team makes an offer. Maybe the one team that has an offer will up their offer. Otherwise, this is the stare down that's been going on for 2 months now. 2 months now, we've had this stare down between Portland, Dame, Miami, Harden, Philly.
Honestly, with the whole Harden thing, Dame Lillard is the winner in all of this. It's taking all the attention and all the heat off of Dame Lillard. Like no one's really focused on that because James Harden in a lot of ways, and I know we don't usually allow this on this show, but we are on a wrestling channel, so I'd like to make comparisons here. It's very much the CM Punk situation. All this stuff would not be known. We would not be talking about deals or what was said unless James Harden came out and said it in public. James Harden's whole trip to Japan was the all-out media scrum.
China.
Or China, Japan, China. So China.
Nope. We're not doing
China.
that, SP3. Don't get yourself in trouble.
No. I thought it was Japan. So I was like, China, Japan. China. This whole trip to China feels like the all-out media scrum.
Yeah, in certain ways. I mean, he didn't completely bury everybody, but he did, call Daryl Morey a liar, and he did open up this floodgate of, okay, well, what did he lie about? What actually happened here? And now he's got to answer for all of this. So that's where we're at on James Harden, and we'll see if it gets resolved. I thought I'm on record of saying I thought it was going to get resolved by the end of August. We're like a week away from that, and doesn't look like we're any closer. So we shall see.
We're about to start. We're gonna try training camp with this whole situation. It's still up in the air.
Yeah. Most likely. And we talked about this a lot last week of what's best for Philly in this situation. Do you start training camp? Do you have him come in when he's clearly not happy? Who knows how he's going to act? Who knows what he's going to do? And then otherwise, do you roll with that, Or do you try to trade him now and not have that headache? Try to just get your team together. You wait, have the headache, hope something falls apart elsewhere. Somebody does make an offer for James Harden. That's a game
Yeah.
Daryl Morey's played in the past. He's won with Ben Simmons because he got James Harden, which was a good deal for Philadelphia. But otherwise, I don't know if there is a winning on this deal as much as there was for Ben Simmons, because James Harden's on a 1-year contract. The history of him acting like this, I don't think teams are going to be lining up. I still think Miami should just make the same offer they made for for Portland.
If you're desperate, you might as well. If the whole Dame situation is dragging feet, and there's a reason why we haven't heard any updates at all in the past like month and a half as far as Dame Lillard, and now all the attention is on James Harden, they could come in here and kind of like just basically pull a robbery at this point with the same offer they gave for Dame. They can pretty much get it for James Harden because we're at the point of no return with these two.
Yeah, and we'll see how it all plays out. Seems like it's going to drag on training camp. Schedules got released. Training camps open in a month. Season starts in 2 months.
How you like the schedule?
I don't care about the schedule, if I'm being honest about things. You play the teams you're going to play. Like, everyone's schedule just shapes out the way it's going to shape out. It becomes a bigger deal during the season when you realize, oh, this team has this many back-to-backs. Oh, this is why 3 games in 4 nights. This is why they lost. Oh, they're racking up this many. I truly don't look at it and pick it apart to that extent. Games being on like ESPN, TNT, and stuff, don't care. You know who's going to be on the major networks and everything. They're going to put the stars. They're going to put the Lakers.
The Nuggets got more games this season.
They're the fucking champions. They should have more games there.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
for all the Nuggets fans that were complaining.
They should. They're the champions.
We should be celebrating this. Yes. I'm saying this. Why are you coming at me like, oh, they should?
They should. They're the champions.
Indignant.
Why is this like a big news that they're on more national televised games? They're the champions. They should be. You seem upset about this.
I'm not upset at all. I said it to celebrate them.
It was a little sarcastic, SP3. It was a little sarcastic.
Congratulations
to the Nuggets. Congratulations.
God.
The national, you got national title.
Didn't I
you got
celebrate
national
them
games
when they won the championship? I celebrated when they won the championship. Celebrated when they beat the Lakers. Celebrating them now that they got more national games. Like, I'm celebrating the Nuggets. I'm more of a Nuggets fan than you are.
That's like, not true.
It seems like you only are a Nuggets fan when they win a championship and you can brag about it. I'm a Nuggets fan, and I'm picking up the small victories here. I'm picking up the small victories here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm teaching folks at home, watching, if you're at work, listening, I'm teaching you how to be a real fan, because it's the small victories that really matter.
Being national televised, you're making it seem like, oh, celebrate, being in more national games. Who cares about the championship? This is what the championship led to. More national games. This is the real prize. Everybody, you guys got more national games. Great. Congratulations.
What did Mike Malone talk more about? The Nuggets winning the West, or the Nuggets being disrespected and not having national games and people talking about other teams more? I am bringing attention to the fact that they won the championship. They proved everyone wrong. They proved why they deserve the national spotlight, and now they're getting the national spotlight. That's all I'm saying.
It's a little sarcastic. Feels a little disingenuous. SP3.
Feels a little disingenuous. This guy over here. Sheesh. Get a real team. Stick with your team. Stick with your Thunder. Thunder instead of jumping on bandwagons.
How? Okay. Now you're just annoying me, SP3.
Hey, I didn't dance around here like I was some Warriors fan when I got that right 2 seasons ago. I didn't dance around like, oh, I'm a
because
Warrior.
I didn't bury the Warriors. You spent years.
I'm head of the bandwagon now.
You spent years burying Jokic and Embiid. You were gonna celebrate a Sixers title if Embiid. You were celebrating Embiid's MVP. You were riding for Embiid more than Anthony Davis out here. You were
I was
celebrating
not
a
riding for
player.
Embiid more than Anthony Davis.
Player.
Check the tapes. Check
A
the tapes.
player.
Check the footage. Check the stock footage. Get out of here.
I only
Get
check
out
the
of here.
footage when I know I'm correct. Otherwise, I don't go back and listen to this stuff.
Exactly. Folks, he just admitted it. He just admitted it. Only time he can get tape and presented on air here is when he's right about something. That's it.
Yeah, you remember your victories more than your losses.
I
Isn't that how
remember
this
it
works?
all. I
Isn't this how
remember it
this
all
works?
in this memories museum.
Do you know how much dumb shit I say on all of these shows? SP3, I can't remember half of it. Most of the time I'm trolling anyway.
This is fine. It's fine by me. One of our teams made it to the conference final, and the other guy had to jump on a bandwagon.
It wasn't a bandwagon.
Get any type of shine past April.
It wasn't a bandwagon. It was a prediction that I happened to be correct that everyone chastised me for.
I was correct. I was correct. I was correct the season before. I was correct the season before that. I called the Milwaukee Bucks winning 3 seasons ago.
I don't remember.
You don't see me. You don't see me claiming, "Oh, my Milwaukee Bucks." Jeez.
You should have. You should have.
No
one would have faulted you.
No, it's because, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to teach everyone a valuable lesson. There's a great responsibility in being the only person who's always right. And when you're not always right, you have to celebrate it like Jeremy Lambert.
Are you always right? Anthony Davis, top 5 MVP, always right?
Hey, he was on track. He was on track. I was
on track.
He was on track.
Close.
He was
close
on track.
Only counts. It only matters if you're on track if you're a train. That's it, SP3. That's the only time it matters if you're on track. And close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
He was on track. It's not my fault. The media doesn't know how to, judge on, they're just.
It's not your fault that Anthony Davis always gets hurt.
Not my fault. Not my fault. None of this.
You're such a prognosticator. You should have realized that was going to happen.
I had faith. I have faith in people. I believe in people. I believe in people to be greater than what they were. And that's why Joel Embiid won the MVP this season, because I've always believed he was greater than what he was the 2 seasons before.
Good on him. Got that MVP. That's all that matters to Joel Embiid and those Sixers fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got the NBA champion right 3 straight seasons. And
3 straight seasons?
3 straight seasons, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks.
When did you pick the Lakers?
Lakers the season we got Anthony Davis. Yes, I did.
Oh, I don't think we were doing the show at this time.
Yeah,
we weren't doing the show. What do you mean check the tapes?
You weren't doing the shows, but check the tapes over at True Hill Heat. I was saying it then.
Before the season, you called all this? Before
the season, and when we got Anthony Davis, I said we were going to win the championship that season.
I don't believe any of this.
Who else was the big prediction that season? Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers? I'm sure it wasn't picking them. I'm sure it wasn't picking them, no. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about why. I'm talking about Jerome YouTube. I'm talking about the Triple C of FMC, the African American Dragon. Me.
I don't believe any of this.
This man upsets me. Y'all riled up on a Tuesday morning. Got people in the chat saying we're the new undisputed.
Cher Delaware has been hanging out backstage this entire time because I sent her this link because we said we weren't going to get into NBA, and then we got into NBA. He was on track for 2 weeks. That sounds about right. All right, let's bring on.
He wasn't. He was on track.
2 weeks.
For at least 2 months. 2 months.
2.5.
It was at least until December. December. And then it fell apart. Got injured. Happens.
2.5 weeks. Let's bring on our pal, Cher Delaware. Hello, Cher Delaware.
Hello.
So, as a Steph Curry aficionado and fan, what do you make of his comments saying it is only him and Magic Johnson as the two greatest point guards of all time? Magic Johnson's the only person close to him.
I mean, he's obviously correct.
Yes.
I mean, he actually is, so yeah, can't really argue that.
Oh, I will be doing since Jeremy never watches it because I've been telling him to watch it for 2 seasons now. I'm gonna be doing winning time reviews on the show now.
I do okay. I do want to. Have you watched it? Have you watched the first season?
I'm up to season. Yeah, I've finished first season. I finished that like last year, and then season 2 just started.
Oh, I know season 2 just started.
Season 2, I can tell they're gonna put a lot into this because they've already gone through 1 season. So basically, what it seems like the format of the show is every season is gonna be leading up to the next championship because they started off the season showing the second championship, and then then they went into the road to.
Gotcha. I do want to. I watched the premiere of season 2, like the first 5 minutes. That's literally it. I do want to watch Winning Time and actually review it again. Actually, finding time to do this is a completely different discussion. But if you want to review it on the show, that's fine. I do want to watch it though. We will see. We'll see if I can get my ass in line and actually watch this show. Who would you take? SP3 real quickly. Steph Curry or Magic Johnson? You don't know who your second best player is.
Ooh, I don't know who my second best player is.
Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Really? Okay.
He's the better scorer. I was gonna say Magic, but when you put that caveat of you don't know who the second best player is, you do need to know that with Magic Johnson.
I don't think so.
I think you kind of do. I think you kind of, and especially watching this Winning Time is showing me about like early Magic, because I always, when I watch it, I try to like fact check it and go back and do my research. And yes, Magic Johnson, he had the great first season, but it was some roadblocks after that, and he had to get used to his teammates. So I think that Steph Curry is more of a reliable scorer. I don't really need to know who my second best player is. With Magic, I think I do more.
I disagree because I think Magic makes everybody around him better. And I think chances are you're probably getting a good second player. I think Magic is a more well-rounded player than Steph. I don't think that's really disputable, honestly. I've seen Steph like without Draymond, and that wasn't great results. Without Clay, wasn't super great results. I think Steph needs, obviously Steph is fantastic. I'm not trying to diminish him at all. He is, in my opinion, the second best point guard of all time behind Magic. But I think that Magic fits into a larger mold than Steph. I would rather have if Kevin Garnett is my second best player, give me Steph Curry, because Kevin Garnett, great. He's basically Draymond on steroids. Like, excellent defensively, will cover up for Steph's defense. Great passer, great shooter, and everything like that. I think Magic makes everybody around him a little bit better. And look, I know Steph can like explode for 40, and Magic's not as good of a shooter or anything. Steph also having the space to operate helps him a lot. Magic's just, he's going to bully dudes. As big as he is as a point guard, defensively as well, I would take Magic if I don't know my second best player.
Honestly, I think you also have to put in the caveat of what generation, what NBA are we putting these guys into? Because if it's right now, then yeah, I'm picking Steph Curry. Regardless of what you just said, I'm picking Steph Curry if it's the current NBA, because Magic Johnson can't shoot. So
Magic Johnson can shoot.
Can't shoot that well. Can't shoot well enough for today's NBA.
I disagree to an extent, because we didn't see him. It was a different league. It was a different league, right? Like, he didn't have to shoot as well back then. That's where things do become iffy between generations. Is, had the 3-point line been more prevalent back then, would he have worked on that? Would he have gotten better at that? Probably, but he just didn't need to do it. But I understand, like, you're just basing what we've seen. in that case. So yeah, I Trey Jones says that you can't go wrong with either. I agree with that. You can't. I think I would go with Magic if I don't know my second best player. That's all. Can't go wrong with Steph. All right, let's get into the challenge. We had 2 episodes on the challenge this past week, and SP3, you are much better at recapping these things than I am. So I'm going to turn it over to
Put
you
me
as the
on the
recap.
spot
But
here.
I mean, I can do a
No,
quick recap.
it's episode 3 is the one I'm a little bit more hazy on because episode 4 I just watched yesterday, so
I just
I could
watched
pretty much.
this morning, so
So yeah, I can pretty much do episode 4 fine. It's episode 3.
Okay,
I'm a
well,
little
let's
okay, but well, I know more. I'm on most parts, so I know we got early on like Paulie talking about his going through therapy and actually discovering about his sexuality because he used to dress as like Freddie Mercury and he didn't understand like why, and he used to have like sort of feelings, so going through therapy has changed him as a person. He actually had this conversation with Tori, which I thought was actually that was more telling that this was a really honest conversation, a chance for him to be honest the way he is, and you could see that he's a little bit more in comfortable in his own skin here. So I believe though the winner of the challenge the blue team or was it the
blue
green
team
team?
won.
Blue team.
Capsized is what it was. It was like a puzzle where you have to flip over the boat. You had to like memorize like
Yes.
flags. Yeah.
Yes, so yeah, the blue team won that one. Green team was absolutely awful. Their best swimmer was slowed down by Amanda, basically riding his back like he was a damn boat. Wes. So they flipped over the boat a few times. Apparently, from what they said on the challenge podcast, the whole challenge it took them like an hour to do, and they at that point people were just waiting for them to finish. But yeah, that was just an awful display by them. Red team wasn't that much better, but they still wasn't as bad as the green team. And then for the blue team, I believe their choices for the elimination were bananas was the male choice, and the female choice was it Amanda?
Yeah, Amanda.
So yeah, it was bananas and Amanda, and really the whole house was kind of aimed at bananas because it basically in the blue meeting it came down to Tori versus Alyssa. And Alyssa was running the room in this whole deliberation. Like she said before the deliberation, she felt like she was kind of outmanned and basically, manipulated in the last deliberation, and she wasn't going to let that happen this time. We heard earlier in the show Corey talking to Wes and Bananas, and he had a confessional where he was like he wants to work with Wes and Bananas, but these vets have never been on his side. And I was like, oh boy, here comes Corey about to make a dumb decision. So before the deliberation, Alyssa comes to him and is like, you're at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to the vets, and the vets is really our target now. Like we said last week, like that was who they're targeting, and these Big Brother Survivor players are not your regular rookies. They are really on targeting these veterans. So she basically talked to Corey and was like, you need to jump ship and jump over with us. And the show of that would be voting our way in this whole deliberation. So when it comes around to him, mind you, they didn't really focus on Fessy because Fessy was like bananas and Michelle. He wouldn't say Amanda because he has the relationship with Amanda, but he said Michelle because of Amanda. So regardless, his female vote had something to do with Amanda. And then he just said bananas because he's like, that's the dude that took me out last season, so I'm gonna vote for bananas too. But the whole focus was really on Corey, who kind of flipped on Tori, who is his friend, but Tori's trying to ride for the veterans, even after some people on her team was like, oh, I bet you really want to vote for Amanda because Amanda voted for her last week, and she was like, no, I'm fine. Like there's bigger fish to fry. Because I will say, Tori, I've actually been related with Tori this season because I was like, yeah, why would you take out Amanda? You could be Amanda. It's like Amanda's not a threat. She's not a threat.
It's true. She's not.
It's
true.
True.
Not a threat.
She's not a threat. But you're going to get kicked off the show if you say that you relate to Tori again.
I know. And then she had the line on Josh in that first episode, and then here I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Okay, she makes it, and she's riding for the vet. If you riding for Wes, I'm a understand you. I'm not gonna ride for you. I'm gonna understand you."
And so because the vets are so outnumbered, and they're so hard against the vets, and they don't really have a great. I mean, they've got Bananas and they've got Corey who can perform sometimes, but then he's flip flopping, and they've got Wes, but then you've got Amanda who
drags it all down.
Yeah, and Janae's gone, so
Janae's gone.
Yeah,
Polly's gone now. Like,
yeah. So Bananas. Corey picks Bananas, so this leads to a whole Bananas blow up. So first we had Amanda blow up with Michelle. Now we got Bananas blowing up on Corey, and then he goes to, and he was like, "This is why you never win." I was like, yeah, tell him, Bananas. Tell him, because he never makes the right choice. You ride the fucking middle until you have to make a choice. Yes. Ride the fucking middle. You can play both sides with being at the bottom of the totem pole.
How many seasons is this now that he has done this? He always shoots himself in the foot every time. If he would stay with the vets, they would at least keep him until farther along, because they know that he's good. They know he's going to eliminate people. And then when it comes down to it, he's most likely going to be able to eliminate most of them too. Like, I don't understand why you are not a rookie. Stop going with the rookies every time.
And he did this shit on Spies, Lies, and Allies, and it failed. Like, you're not Wes. Wes is the only one who we have seen effectively lose rookies to get himself further along in this challenge. You're not that guy, Corey. Stick with the vets or play the middle until you have to make a choice, until it is late in the game and you have to choose whatever side you want to go on. But he always makes the choice too early, and it always comes back to haunt him. So I would not be surprised if he is in the next couple of episodes out of here, because it always happens to Corey this way. So Bananas yells at him, then Bananas goes to Fessy, and I was glad. I was like, oh, Bananas knew. He had a checklist. He said it in the confessional. He was like, it's different when it's your friends that's voting for you, when it's people you actually know. He was like, and where's your head? He comes to Fessy in his room. He's like, and where's your head? And he was like, man. He was like, I don't owe you anything. He was like, see, man. He was like, you're riding with these guys. He was like, you could ride with us. We are the veterans. We know you. Like, we've been with you. He was like, I wish he would have said the same thing. He's like, this is why you never win. It's like, I wish Bananas would have just played both of them, and then he's yelling in the kitchen, and he's with Dusty and Paulie, and he's like, man, it comes a tough time when Dusty and Paulie are my only allies in the freaking house. I was like, that is hilarious.
Dusty for the next episode. I have commentary about Dusty's weird ass.
Please do, because I was gonna bring that up, because now I'm watching with one of my friends, and he's straight from the hood, but he was just like, yo, I think that dude's in love with Bananas.
Bananas literally said, are we in love now?
Yes. Dude, he's staying out here writing him letters and everything. Like, dear Johnny, hope you don't get eliminated.
Dear Johnny, I still ain't calling.
I'll think about you if you leave. But he gets voted. Then they basically kind of split the balls for the other teams as far as like who is going to be put in. There's some votes for Paulie. I forgot who got the most votes for this one.
Monty had the most. Yeah. That's who Bananas wanted. Bananas wanted Monty. And
Bananas wanted Monty.
I think
Josh got a vote.
Yeah, I think Josh had a ball. I think Monty had like 4, and
yes, Josh had 1 because he was trying to figure out.
Yeah, and Paulie had a few, and it ended up coming obviously with Paulie, and then Amanda didn't have to compete in this one because it was a guy for the first time, and we got Bananas and Paulie, which kind of a dream matchup on here. But I gotta say, like I know we love Paulie on this show, friend of FMC. Him being more just low key and just not fired up with all of this stuff. A little disappointing. He had respect for Bananas and everything. I wanted the Paulie of like, I'm gonna fucking eat you alive, Johnny Bananas. Instead, it was like, oh man, like me against Bananas. I was kind of looking out for him. We were on the same team this season, and I don't know if that worked in his was a disadvantage for him because he look the game. So the game was you hold your arm up for however long you need to hold it up for. And if it drops at all, fish guts go on you. And you're standing on a block of ice and there's fire coming up to melt the block of ice. But to get the fire off of you, you throw a dodgeball at a trigger and then it goes back and forth. And Paulie missed the last trigger. Yeah, beanbag. Paulie missed the last trigger. So the fire was you have a limited amount of beanbags. And Paulie missed the last one. So the fire is going to stay on him. Probably would have lost that anyway, just based on that. Because at some point, the fire, his block of ice was going to melt faster than Bananas. But I do wonder if maybe just too much respect shown for Bananas, where the past Paulie would not have shown that respect.
I struggled because, I mean, I even told Paulie when we interviewed him, like, you're the person that we love to cheer against, you know, like, but I liked Paulie and he came on and it just seemed like maybe he'd matured, and he did say he'd been in a lot of therapy and everything. So that could have been a lot of it, but I don't know. I mean, I wanted him to be like, okay, this is a competition now. Like, I'm gonna fucking win, you know, like just at least go into competition mode once he was in the elimination, because it was like he wanted to win, but he wasn't like, I'm obnoxious Paulie who's going to get under your skin. So it was like, but I was very disappointed with the outcome. I mean, we kind of knew as soon as who was going in there what the outcome was going to be, because they're not getting rid of a certain fruit that early. But
I mean, look, you had, I mean, let's pull up our draft here. You chastised me for not taking Paulie first, SP3, and then it came down to Paulie and Bananas here, and I was correct in taking Bananas. And I was correct because I knew he wasn't going anywhere early this season. He's been going off too early these past few seasons. They were not having it happen again. He managed to avoid his hopper ball being picked the first time. He managed to avoid the elimination because he wasn't picked the second time. And then he couldn't escape it for 3 straight weeks. But they still got him to where I didn't think he was going off. They moved that target somehow for that last throw. That they moved it.
I will say I wasn't disappointed by Paulie on this season. I just I felt like this was more of a redemption type of season to make him feel more sympathetic and make him feel more human. And we saw more of the Paulie that we interviewed more than the Paulie that we grown accustomed to. And it's also, we have to take into the fact and acknowledge the fact this is the first season Paulie's ever done without Cara.
Yes.
So this is totally different. Yeah. I think that it would be totally different if Cara was on this season, that maybe we would have seen more of the aggressive side when you are trying to protect the person you love and also show that masculine side of you when you have all the emotions that he's talking about that he has to deal with therapy about. Like, yeah, I think it would have been different, and we would have seen that different Paulie, a little bit more of that different Paulie that you guys wanted if Cara was on this season, and also would have seen a little bit of that Paulie in this elimination if it was a physical elimination and not some stupid thing where you put your hand up.
A physical elimination definitely could have changed things for Paulie. This one, it was just, all right, leave your hand there the whole time.
I do hope that, one, they cast him again. Now that they've cast him and Cara both on separate things, I hope that they are like, okay, we can put them on a season together. And I think that you're right. I think he's going to be a lot more aggressive. I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but like when they're on a season together, because he's trying to protect her too. And he's trying to keep her on the season, and he doesn't want to go home if she's there. He wants to stay there with her too. So I do think that would make a difference. But it was definitely his redemption. I mean, I've seen a lot of people in like the Facebook group that I'm in for the challenge and stuff talk about how they couldn't stand Pauly, and he seemed a lot more sympathetic this season, like, but then there's always the people that were like, he just said that because he just came out because of he wants attention. And I'm like, that, I mean, there's a lot of ways to get attention that aren't
exactly.
that.
You don't need to do that.
Like, I mean, that doesn't really make any sense, but okay. So SP3 has lost a person.
Yep, SP3.
Yes.
He lost his first overall pick. He went with Pauly. He went with the I don't want to say sympathetic pick, but he went with his heart. Let's be honest about it. He went with his heart because the real SP3 would have picked Wes second overall.
Yes.
That is the SP3 we all know. He would have picked Wes, and instead he went with Pauly because Pauly has been on this show, and that's what happens when you decide you can't play with your heart in fantasy drafts, SP3. You do that in love, not in fantasy drafts.
I will do it. I go with my heart every single time. And when I pick Wes, I will go with my heart again and pick Pauly in the future. But let's talk about episode 4, which I thought was the best episode of the challenge since War of the Worlds 2.
Yeah.
All right, great. Set it all up. So I'll set up the beginning of it real quickly, SP3, and then I'll turn it over to you. So Bananas won. And then, as we mentioned last week, we have defection after that. First 2 people did not use defection. Bananas is like, it's here for a reason. I'm going to use it. So Bananas goes into defection mode, and he's like, I ain't won anything with red team. We haven't been very good, so I'm going to defect. And he moved over to the blue team. And so he is now... Yes,
Corey took his spot.
Yeah. He moved over to the blue team, replacing Corey, and now Bananas went to the blue team, and then we get back to the house, and then we have Josh, SP3.
The
Josh.
I never thought I could say this in my life. Josh is so fucking funny throughout this whole... If he brought this energy from the moment he stepped on the challenge, I would love him. He's so chaotic. But instead, he just cried all the previous seasons. Like, if he acts this insane, yes. Okay, continue.
And it's because of the people. It's because he's defending the people that we know and have grown accustomed to on the challenge as well. It also helps that it's that. I don't know if I would have viewed this the same. Like, I had to really kind of analyze myself and why I love this so much. It was the combination of so chaotic, so just out there, so quotable, and at the same time, he's protecting the people that I like. So it's like, oh, this is all around an all-time great performance for a challenge episode. So Josh is just like, so basically, Banana sets this up and saying, like, you know, I had my moment last week, and now it's Josh's moment, because Josh is upset because he's they're sitting in like the common area of the living room, and everybody's kind of like smiling in each other's face, not really talking too much. And he was like, "Yo, what's up with all this? What's up with all this?" He was like, "We're gonna shuffle around and smile in each other's face and act fake, walk around eggshells with each other." And he was like, Josh is just going off. So Josh is in the middle. He was like, yo, they didn't even used to have doors on the challenge. He was like, now you got doors. People shuffling out doors like rats. He was like, come out. Y'all some pussies. Yo, I was like, yo, what? Wait, what? Yo, what is happening?
Like, you guys going in closets, talking. I'm like, what's wrong?
Shuffling like rats. Shuffling like rats. He was like, come out and say it to my face. You have to do all these conversations. He's like, yo, I was like, yo, Josh went off. Like, Josh really, what just happened? I was like, this is the most entertaining I ever seen Josh. So it gets better as we go into, first we go into the daily challenge, right?
Yeah.
So this is the daily challenge is basically you're suspended on these kind of four-wheelers, like pick a semi trucks, and you bounce back and forth with these kind of like circles that have your team color, and you have to put it on the accurate team color, and you have to have it stick on the other side. So it basically comes down to red team versus green team, and green team was really doing well despite Amanda completely shitting again. One, because she dropped most of the circle, even though Wes got all of them.
When she dropped him, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
I was like, just pack your bags right now. Just go. Like, you're not like you. The thing with Amanda used to be, oh, she's not really good at like physical eliminations, and she's never been to a final. But she's actually really good at daily challenges. Now she's not even good at daily challenges. What's going on? Now it's just the entertainment for the confessionals and the drama she brings. But. So they're going back and forth. So it comes down to green versus red. So blue realizes that it is coming down to green versus red. And they realize that the last time green was in the elimination, two of the blue players went in before. It was Bananas and Tori. And if the green wins, they're more than likely going to outvote Wes and Amanda and put in Bananas and Tori. And Amanda would help out with the Tori part of that for sure. So they realize that they prefer if red won. So it comes down to it's Monty and what's her name? I forget her name.
Well, it was Alyssa, wasn't it?
I think
no, it was the other black girl from Survivor. I forget her name.
Oh, Desi. Sorry, Desi.
No, not Desi. The other black girl. I know Desi, not the other black girl.
Out there talking about she was going to have to fix her social game.
Michaela. It was Michaela.
Okay, Michaela. Okay.
It was Michaela and Monty of the green team versus Bananas and Tori of the blue team. And before the blue team went out, Chris from Survivor basically told the blue team, like, okay, we should make sure that red wins because red won't vote in blue, especially if we help them win. So you guys should just play defense. Don't even worry about putting a dot on the other side. Just play defense the entire time. So it starts, and as soon as the horn buzz, Bananas basically plays a mind game and just tosses all the blue dots. And then he just
like, oh, dropped my chips.
He didn't even need to do that because Tori didn't do that. Tori just left it there and played defense. Bananas did that strictly as a mind game, and it totally fucked with Monty. Monty. He said, oops. Just plays defense all the time. So green needs 11 to win, and they only get 3. Because Tori and Bananas play really good defense. Michaela got pissed during that, apparently, and
she pulled
Tori's
hair.
Yeah.
And apparently, they said it was a lot more cursing and a lot more upset from the green team during that whole elimination.
Very funny that Monty was like, oh, he's going to get it then. He's going to feel this. Like, Bananas is at least 6 inches shorter than him and was still blocking everything he was doing.
Monty scored like 1 with like 30 seconds remaining, and he was like all hyping himself. He's like, yeah, that's right. Like, dude, you need 11. You got 1 and you got like 30 seconds. What are we doing here?
I'm like, I wouldn't be cheering.
No.
Like,
Exactly. I wouldn't celebrate one. You think they celebrate one basket when they down by 15?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
God.
he was very excited to score that 1, but because Tori and Bananas decided to play defense, the red team, the team Bananas left, ended up winning
Because of Bananas.
Yeah, because of Bananas.
Because he said, all you needed to win was for me to leave the team.
Yeah.
Even when they're celebrating at the end, they literally come over and pick up Bananas. That was funny. I was like, yeah, he's still on the team. He's still working for the team. I
liked that everyone on the green team was super pissy about it, and Wes was like, "That was brilliant."
He was like they threw the challenge.
I invented
a concept I invented a decade ago, dude. This It's been done since like season 3, but I love Wes
I know.
because that's Wes's charm. He thinks he invented everything in the
I
challenge.
know. But I love that everyone else is, except, well, they didn't show Amanda talking about it, but like everyone else is so pissy about it because they're new to the challenge. And he's like, fucking brilliant. Like, amazing.
But he did get the information that he needed to, because we found out later, he found out from Johnny that was Chris's idea, and that's why they all the green team voted for Chris. But the red team was the focus here when we come back from this daily challenge, because it's the red team voting. So we have to remember, red team only has 6 players, ladies and gentlemen, and the 6 players are Chanel, Michelle, Tiffany, who are all part of this Big Brother Survivor Alliance, the Garden, as they call it, the girls' room, with Desi and Alyssa and them. Then you got, also from the guys, you got Josh, Corey, and Dusty. So Josh has a meeting with the vets of, I think it's Tori, Wes, Bananas, and Amanda's in the room. And he's like, yo, they're pushing. He's telling Wes, yo, they're pushing your name hard. They're pushing your name hard, but I ain't gonna let it happen. I ain't gonna... I was like, yo, what is happening here? Did Josh just say he's gonna vouch for Wes? And then he's like, yeah, if the vote splits, we vote for Luis and they vote for Wes, it's gonna be 3-3. And he was like, yeah, that will be a stalemate and we could possibly go into elimination. And Josh explains on the confessional, he was like, I'm fine with that. He was like, I'm fine to go into the elimination if I have to. And what Bananas says, and that was the key point, Bananas was like, use the stalemate to your advantage. And boy, oh boy, when you talk about this is like seeing a movie where they have the meeting, the coach has that one last meeting with his basketball team, and he's like, we're gonna run this play, and then the play goes perfectly when it goes onto the court. That's what happened here, folks. That's what happened here. We saw the play-by-play, we saw the gameplay happen, and then the interrogation came. And oh my God, Josh may have had one of the all-time greatest run the room moments in challenge history, because he just used the element of chaos to throw this whole thing in a loop. Soon as Wes' name is brought up, he's like, no, I'm voting for Luis. He was like, I'm voting for Luis. Then when they're talking about the girls, the girls are like, we're gonna vote for Amanda. He was like, no. He was like, no, I want to vote for Desi. He was like, do you guys want to really go against Desi? And I like Chanel. Chanel was like, do you really want to run a final with Amanda? Do you really want to run a final with Amanda? Like, I like Chanel. Chanel was like, okay, it sounds like he wants to do a stalemate, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with going to the elimination. I was like, all right, Chanel, I like you. This is my first impression of you. Okay, I like you. But Josh ran this. So they finally go around. And they finally go around. They do the girls vote first. So Josh votes Desi. Chanel votes Amanda. Then you get Dusty votes Desi. You get Corey votes Desi. You get Michelle votes Amanda. And it comes down to Tiffany. And as soon as it comes down to Tiffany, Josh turns his whole demeanor off. And Josh is like, it's gonna be a stalemate. It's gonna be a stalemate. And Tiffany's just thinking about, man, I got eliminated like the second episode last season. He used it to his advantage to perfection. And Tiffany says, Cassidy. It's like, and this comes after the fact. I forgot the best part of this whole interrogation is after the fact when they're going around and naming names. So he's like, the girls are saying Chanel and Michelle saying Amanda, and he's saying Desi, and the guys are supporting him on Desi. But then he's like, all right, if it's not those two names, then name another name. Just name another name, because they had all agreed they weren't going to say Blue. But then Tiffany was like Cassidy. And Chanel's like, oh, I can't say Cassidy. He was like, oh, you can't say her name either. You can't say her name. What are we playing? Survivor? We playing Survivor right now? I literally watched this clip like 20 times. Every single time I died laughing. Because it's just, the delivery and Corey's reaction. Corey is just like, He's like, wait, I've never seen Josh like this. I've never seen this. He's like, I've never seen this side of Josh before. He is using the chaos to his advantage. So then he gets the girl vote. It's Desi. Then they go around for the guys, and he says Luis. Chanel says Wes. This guy, what's his name? Dusty. He said he can't say Lewis. He doesn't want to say Wes, so he goes with Monty. Corey says Luis. Then it comes down to Michelle, and he's like, Michelle, it's gonna come down to you. He was like, are you really gonna say Wes? Luis said your name. She was like, Luis did say my name. Yo, it was like he planted a whole idea and thought in her head and then just let it marinate it. And she says, Luis. Luis, done. He's like, done. Boom. That's our two names. Luis and Desi. Literally the exact opposite of what the girls wanted on his team. Josh won the MVP. We literally had like 20 minutes left of the episode left, and it was already wrapped up.
Truly, that was some like early bananas level manipulation type of bullshit that he was doing. And it was impressive because I did not know that Josh was capable of doing things like that. Like, that's more what I mean. Like, I love the chaos that he brought, but if he played like this from the beginning, he would have won something. Like, he has just always been, I think, not having stupid ass Casey there too is a help because he's not sitting in a corner with her all the time. But I think that something that we see every season with the rookies that they do every time, all of the rookies want to be in an alliance together. But when there's 75 rookies, you can't all be in an alliance together because you can't say, well, I can't say their name, and I can't say that name, and I can't say that name. Like, you have to have people's names that you can say. It's just part of it. And this game with it, I mean, it's still like a blind vote, but it's easier to figure out who voted for you because there's only so many people. Like, you just can't have everyone's back. And I think that they are starting to see that too. Like, oh, I can't say their name, but I also can't say Cassidy's name, but I also can't say Desi's name. And I also, like, you have to say some people's names.
Yeah, when it comes to the rookies, and that's typically what they attempt to do. They want to all gang up because they want to take out the vets. They always go in there of like, oh yeah, we're going to take out the vets. We're not going to let the vets run this game. And here's Josh, a vet, even though he's not, part of the 6 vets that came in, but still, he's played this game enough to know how it works. Yeah, he is running this game now, which I never thought we would ever say on this show, that Josh would be running this game. And here he is. Yeah, he was the MVP of this episode. I thought his rant to start the episode was just hilarious. It sounded just like he's just like freaking out for no reason. I was like, Josh, what are you doing? Like, what? Just,
I love all the people watching him too. They were like,
yeah, the hair is really what made this.
It was the hair and just him doing like this. Yeah. It's not like it was just, it felt like he was having a nervous breakdown, but it was so hilarious to watch.
And when he said he was going after Luis, I can't think of what the other name was, because he knew one of them had voted for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm after you, and I'm after you. And Luis was like, what just happened? So we didn't touch on this. We still have to get to the elimination, but we didn't touch on this. But Dusty needs to... how did he pass the psyche val to come on this show?
Nobody on this show passes a psyche val. Are you kidding me? These are the most insane people in the world.
That man is nuts. Like, he is crazy. And
that's how he passed the psyche val to get on the show. He's crazy.
Well, you can tell that Bananas is kind of like bothered by how obsessed he is with him too, but he's trying to like make light of it. When he was reading that note, that was his face. He was just like, I'm not sure, but I think we might be in love now. like what is wrong with you, my dude? Like, and when it comes to the elimination, like when Dusty was saying that like Chris doesn't have an athletic
Oh, he
body.
said Chris has a homebody. I
Yeah,
was like, what?
that man's thighs are like this big around. What are you talking about? Like his thighs are as broad as my
And
waist.
then Chris before the elimination, he's like, "Yeah, I played football like my entire life. Like, yeah, this man is athletic." And by the way, speaking of a homebody, CT, dad bod CT won this whole thing. So
Exactly.
Multiple
That's a
times.
homebody.
yeah.
Yeah, when
Oh,
he
man.
like, I'm just thinking like, are you mad because he's next to Bananas now? Are you getting a little butt hurt now?
He's Banana's teammate, and now he's about to beat your guy from
He's
Amazing Rays.
Yeah.
giving Bananas the advice to, throw the challenge and everything. Yeah, that's
And
what it is.
that was good advice. Good advice for
Yeah.
someone who hadn't played this game like that. Like,
But you see why this is an all-time episode? That's like a tidbit of the episode where we could talk about it for a while. There was also the tidbit of Desi kind of going through like self-doubt and stuff early on in the episode, like right after Josh's whole first rant where he calls out Luis and her, and she has like this whole like talking about that. Those confessional cams, those might be better than the confessionals, because that was like that felt like we got a real honest, genuine moment, and it didn't feel commercialed or manufactured like it does when it has the green screen behind it. I like those confessional cams in those little rooms.
I like Desi a lot too. And I think that she is a good competitor. I think most of the rookies are good competitors, but I think that she is better than them, and she just doesn't see it in her.
I think that it's also that the first season created a chip on her shoulder because she knows she got screwed, she got fucked over with the whole Enzo thing. So I think it's also that, and I think that moment that she had was feeling that pressure now. Of like when she came in the first season, it was like, oh yeah, you're a girl from Survivor. The people from Survivor are saying that you're strong, and she performed really well in like the daily challenges. But now you're coming into season 2, and you have some expectations to you, and you have something to live up to. And then seeing all of her stuff that she does outside of the challenge, like doing modeling, and she's done pageants, and you got to be a badass to be one of those pageant girls. Like, people don't understand. Like, I said the same thing about Devin Simone. The reason why Devin Simone finished the free agent final is because she was a pageant queen. Those pageant queens go through those challenge finals when they go through the pageant.
Those bitches literally work out like 6 hours a day and eat a freaking stick of celery for dinner. Like, people think that that's like exaggerating. Pageant world is intense. And those bitches are cutthroat. Like, you think the challenge is bad? No, the pageant world is awful. Like, I mean, it's kind of like, what does it, Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, like, they will freaking take a stick. That was ice skating, but they will take a stick to your leg so that you don't win the pageant. Like, they will take you out. Okay, so you got to tell us who got voted into the elimination with them.
So it was announced during the daily challenge that this would be a double elimination. So as soon as Luis and Desi were voted in, they knew they were going into the elimination. So then they started the deliberation between the teams that lost and who they were going to put as balls. And apparently, for some reason, honestly, I don't get it. So when I saw Wes kind of tweeted about this, I understood where he's coming from. Of course, there's people that are anti-Wes who are like, oh, you're just complaining because you got outplayed. But how did he get outplayed? Because there was no reason to do this. They do the green team elimination where Desi tells them that she wants Cassidy. Because Desi had already told the people in the Big Brother Survivor Alliance that she wanted Amanda, that she feels that she could beat Amanda in pretty much anything. She was very cocky. It was very kind of like, take a step back, because we literally just saw you in like the most insecure moment of self-doubt, and now you're like very cocky saying you could beat Amanda in anything.
But it
and
is
then you're God.
It is Amanda, though. So
it is Amanda, but I'm not saying that if this was a puzzle elimination, I would be very confident that Jesse would beat Amanda. Say anything physical, if that's the case. Like anything physical, 100%. Yeah, you could beat Amanda in pretty much anything except for maybe a puzzle. I think that's what the correct terminology would have been in this situation. But she told everybody else, vote in this girl, vote in Amanda, but told Wes and the rest of the green team to vote in Cassidy. So Cassidy gets 2 votes. And then you have Michaela on the green team. For the guys, they had all agreed, Chris was the one that came up with the plan that made them lose. So let's vote in Chris. So everybody was voting in Chris. And Michaela decides to vote in Wes because she says, oh, I don't want Wes to go off scot-free. I don't want him to leave, but I want him to sweat. So it was just like, even like watching it in real time, I was just like, that don't make no sense though. Like, this is a blind draw. So by telling people you want Cassidy in and people vote Cassidy can still go in. And you can versus Survivor Girl. What, like, that doesn't make any sense. And why wouldn't you tell Wes if you knew the challenge, you would know. Wes would probably jump on your side if y'all came to him. Wes is not gonna come out here and defend Amanda that made them lose that first challenge with the statues. Amanda that just made him lose the last challenge, because if she would have got more than one, maybe they would have won that challenge, even with the blue team conspiring against them. They could have won if she didn't blow that challenge. So you think that maybe you should have had told Wes, see what he says, just put it out there, be like, Wes, after the green meeting, I would have went to Wes and be like, just so you know, I said that Cassidy, I told everybody else on my alliance that they're voting Amanda, so most of them are voting Amanda. You could do what you could do, just it would show a lot that you don't tell her, because we want her to go in unprepared. If that's the whole goal of Amanda goes into the elimination unprepared, why that matters? If you could beat Amanda in anything, why does she need to be unprepared as well? It just does not make sense on every fucking level.
It doesn't make sense at all because it's not a majority vote. It's a blind draw. So putting one ball in there with Wes's name, okay, the statistics tell you he's most likely not going to get drawn, but what if he did? You're going to lose the best fucking player on your team because you think that he shouldn't get off scot-free. For what? He got all 8 of his. What did he do? He didn't want them to freaking conspire against your team. Wes will have his alliances, but at the end of the day, Wes always just wants to win. Wes wants Wes to win. That's it. So it didn't make any sense at all. And I felt like I was doing mental gymnastics trying to understand what all of their reasoning was for stuff. And I was like, I don't get it. You people.
At this point, it just feels like these Big Brother Survivor Alliance, as far as when it comes to Wes, they're just trying to be like, haha, we got Wes again. That seems like that's the point of it. There's no game point. It's just to be like, we got Wes again.
Yeah.
I was very confused as to why they just left him out of all of this. And Wes was obviously very confused as well. He's like, what are we doing here? And why would you risk just going against him in this when he is on your team and he's probably a good person to have on your team? And like you were saying, SP3 is I don't think Wes cares if Amanda sticks around or not. She's the worst player on the team. I think Wes recognizes that. I know there's veteran alliance, but okay, sure. One, Amanda can flip at any moment. So I know she has people she trusts and everything, but Amanda ain't the most trustworthy person in any game. And then 2, she's the worst player.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, Cher, Wes cares about winning. Okay, he protects relationships and everything, but the relationship ain't that strong with Amanda.
Amanda's not stupid. Amanda knows she's not performing well.
Yeah.
It went at the end of that challenge when Josh was like, how many did you get? And Wes said 8, and him and Michelle were saying how many they got, and he said Amanda, and she said 1.
Yeah.
She knew that she did terribly. She knows she's not going to win a challenge. She comes on there for a check, and she's gone for a little bit from work. That's her vacation. She goes a year. I mean, she knows that she's not going to win. And Amanda has people that she hates. She hates Tori in and out of the show. She but
she hates Michelle in and out of the show.
Yes, but usually it's for personal reasons. Like, she can get along with Wes because she knows it's a game. Like, she understands that. She's not, and Wes doesn't really care. Like, there are people that if him and Johnny Bananas can become friends, then Wes can be buddy.
I was gonna say that his closest relationship in the house is Johnny Bananas, the person he hated for a decade.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand not including the person who has played this game the longest on your team just because you're conspiring to do things that don't make any sense. Like, I mean, and if they would have told Wes that too, that would have been such a good clip to see of Wes being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this doesn't make any sense. What are you doing?
So we have the eliminations, and Amanda is picked because she's got about 8 balls in the hopper. 9, okay.
Even TJ laughed. TJ laughed when it came up, and Amanda's face, like, you fucker.
So Amanda gets picked, and then Luis gets picked for the men's side of things, and the elimination is it's called Evil.
They voted in.
What's that?
Chris got picked.
Oh, Chris got picked. Sorry.
Chris.
Chris got picked in the hopper. The elimination is Evil Eye, which is basically pole wrestling, but instead of a pole, it is a giant pong or not pong.
It looks like a weight, like a dumbbell.
Like a giant weight. I'm trying to think of Pogs. You guys remember Pogs? And you have like the slammers. It looks like just a giant slammer. So but like a weight. That's what this thing is, and you both grab onto it and you try to wrestle it from the other person, and then you take it to the safety zone. But it's only best of 1, so it's just first winner. Like at pole wrestling, a lot of times it might be like best of 3, but this is just first win gets it. Chris and Luis is sort of competitive, but I don't know. It seemed like Chris kind of dominated things for the most part. And then Amanda and Chris ended up winning. And then Amanda and Desi just kind of ragdolled her. Amanda held on for dear life, which bless her, but it never felt like she was about to, unless she said, oh, maybe she'll tire herself out. She did not. Finally, Desi was able to wrestle it away, and Desi won.
I don't know if people realize how small Amanda is too. Like, she's not super tall. She probably weighs like 130 pounds. Like, she is a small girl. So anytime she gets something physical, and if it's like, okay, I have to wrestle you for something, I'm always like, oh, she's going to lose this because she's and she doesn't work out in a sense of like lifting weights or anything like that. That's obvious. So it's just like, okay, she's not going to win this, but she tried. I mean, she knew gonna do it, but she didn't give up. So
she embraced Tori, her arch nemesis. So
yeah.
I mean, it held on, but
the chat has lost Luis, and Cher, you have lost Amanda.
Finally, she lost somebody.
Was that her first one? Oh, it was. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I think so.
There you go. All right. Well, I mean, SP3, you're the person who's lost 2 now, including your top overall pick, and then
Desi's looking good. Desi looking good.
Desi's looking good. Yeah.
I thought you said Fessy is looking good.
He's been non-existent this season, which is fantastic.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Kept cutting to his face during the daily, like when he was getting annoyed with stuff, and I'm like, stop showing me this man's face. I do not care. Like, he is
trying to make me turn this off.
Oh, I can't stand him. There was not a ton of Tori on this either, and I loved it. Like,
he's like, I was all for that.
No Fessy.
I was also going to say another benefit to Josh's game is that he doesn't seem to be playing with Fessy directly this season.
Yes. And I think that that's good because Fessy thinks, I'm not saying Fessy is not an intelligent person. I don't know the person outside of the game. In the game, he is not an intelligent person. He doesn't know how to play it well. Which he says that he's like super introverted, and as an introverted person, that would affect my game a lot because I wouldn't have a great social game because I would rather just not talk to people than try to, make all these relationships and everything. His problem is he just sleeps with everybody. So then you got all these girls mad at you, and it's like, maybe don't do that either. If you're not going to social game, like maybe don't also sleep with everybody.
He's Corey. He's the new Corey. This is what Corey did for years. And then Corey wondered why he never won, besides the fact that he wasn't as good as he thought he was as well. He's literally just, he's a new Corey. He thinks he's better than he is. And he sleeps with everybody. And so
I honestly,
they all hate him.
Nelson, Fessy, Tony, like all of them.
No.
All the same.
No, we're not putting Nelly T in here.
No
disrespect to the
you know what Fessy is? He is Corey meets Zach.
Yeah.
I can see
he's the tall, muscle-bound guy that thinks he's way better than he really is, like Zach was. And then but as a personality, he relies on just sleeping with girls like Corey did.
Yeah. Well, and I laughed the other day. I can't remember. I'm always sending you guys things in our group chat about the challenge. And I can't remember if I sent you the one or not. Anissa was claiming that they test for steroids before they go on the show, which everyone has refuted. Literally everyone is like, no, that's not true. Corey was on a podcast and was like, no, they don't test for steroids. If they did, then, oh God, what's his name? Kyle wouldn't be allowed on the show if they tested for steroids. And somebody was like, well, if they did, they just started it because Zach was on steroids and like openly admitted that he was on steroids when he was doing early seasons of the show. And there's another one who's recently been on there who has a whole YouTube series where he talks about what steroids he's taking. Like, Anissa just talking out of her ass saying that, and like, nobody actually thinks Tori is on steroids. So I don't know why they keep thinking that they need to defend this. Like,
people were joking when they say stuff like that. As far as Tori, everybody else though, Zach, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I heard that. I was like, no, that's up.
Maybe that's why Zach had so many anger issues. Because
I was like, yeah, that's up. I was like, him crying on the mountain in Free Agents. I was like, that's how when you're a steroid bound guy, you're filled with anger and disappointment, and you have no other way to release it. You should start crying.
Yeah.
That cry is legendary.
Oh yeah. So next weekend I will be at Challenge Mania. I don't remember who all is going to be there again as the guest, but
is it in Chicago?
Yes.
What day?
Saturday.
Okay. What time?
I'll have to send it to you. I'm not sure. I think it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, that might work then.
They do it in the afternoon. So,
okay.
But they do Challenge Mania Hall of Fame awards every year since the challenge won't do an actual Hall of Fame. And the criteria for it is like you can't have been on like one of the past 2 seasons or something like that to be eligible to be inducted. So they have their first 2. They induct 2 women and 2 men every year. The first 2 for this year have already been chosen. It is Susie Meister and CT. So we're voting for the second right now, and it was Emily. I can't think of what her last name is.
Schroman,
yeah,
or something like that.
Schroman. Yeah.
Her and Millionaire Mitchell are in the running to be they're like neck and neck. And I can't remember who the guys were, but CT ran away with it. I knew as soon as CT got in a spot where he was eligible, he would be in. But he ran away with it. But actually Susie was behind, and she started talking about it on her podcast, Brain Candy. And her people, because you can only vote if you're a patron for Challenge Mania, her people started joining the Patreon just to vote to get Susie in, and they got her.
That's loyal ass fans right there.
You word.
That's
loyal ass fans. They had to pay money and
Yeah.
and vote.
That's what Scott said. Scott was like, "Shout out to the Brain Candy Pod fans."
Yeah.
Susie mentioned
Good
it.
on them.
People got on here, and I mean, she ran away with it. So good for her.
Good on them.
Good on them.
Anything else from the world of the challenge that we need to discuss?
I think
Nope.
that's everything challenge related for now.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this show then. If we have nothing else challenge related, there is SP3. I don't know if you know this. I just saw this the other night. I haven't started watching it yet, but there's a new season of Too Hot to Handle on Netflix. Season 4. Yeah, I've not watched any of it yet, but I plan on it. There's finale of Temptation Island and the Big D tomorrow, so I'll be watching. Oh, Big D finale already ended. Temptation Island finale is ending. Why is Cher in pain or is she laughing?
I'm in pain. I'm okay.
Okay.
Oh no. Well, I hope this will make the pain okay. Hopefully, I don't make you laugh though. I have a new segment, Jeremy, to close out this show.
Oh,
if you could take out your phone and put 90 seconds on the clock, could you put 90 seconds on the clock? My new segment on FMC, because I am the triple C of FMC, the charming challenge champ. I will.
Are you ready?
Give you guys what I am calling 90 days in 90 seconds.
Oh,
everything 90-day related that I can give you information wise in 90 seconds. So, Jeremy,
3, 2, 1, go.
So they have this new show. It's called 90 Day The Last Resort. They have Asuela and Kalani on the show who are going through marriage problems. They're married. They have 2 kids. And 90 Day Last Resort, they sit down with this therapist. This is an all-star cast, by the way. They got Big Ed on it. They got Angela on it. They got Asuela and Kalani, and Asuela and Kalani are the stars because Asuela, is a very kind of, we'll say dumb kid from Samoa, from the Isle of Samoa. He didn't know much, couldn't speak too much English. Yeah. So now he's cheated on Kalani, unfortunately. He went to the Isle of Samoa and he cheated with a girl. He was on FaceTime with Kalani and actually showed her the girl. Then the next day he woke up and his tongue was white. Yes, he got a yeast infection from kissing the girl. And then apparently when he got home, he told her that he not only kissed the girl, he went down on her. And
that's how he got the yeast infection.
I know, that's it. You're breaking into my 90 seconds. Then finally with this whole thing, Asuela gave Kalani a hall pass, thinking that she wouldn't take the hall pass, but she did. And she slept with the guy who was much better than her because he actually cares about her needs.
Got cut off at 90 seconds. I did just immediately remove him. Oh my god.
The yeast infection.
Oh yeah, that's not good. That's not good. All right, SV3. I remember Asuela and Kalani. This is from when I was watching. So you triggered the memory when you were talking about Isle of Samoa and everything. Oh man, I never thought Asuela would be that person. I remember he drove. He drove with the kid in the car, and the kid was not like in the car seat, like buckled in, and he just started like driving. And Kalani was super pissed, like rightfully so, about this.
Yeah. Did you see the stuff with the parents too? When the
mom the dad,
give me some money. Give me some money.
The dad looks like he's about to murder him at every single turn. The dad rules.
When the sister was about to punch Kalani because she wouldn't give him money. Oh my god, they are legends in 90 Day Lord, but their legend just became even bigger on Last Resort.
The real bloodline right there.
The real bloodline.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm glad 90 Day Fiance is still as trash as ever. Yeah, we got Temptation Island to watch tomorrow, the finale there. We're going to Offspring tonight. Offspring and Sum 41.
Is Simple Plan there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My friend, they were just in Orlando, I think, and my friend went to it. He was sending me videos. It was fantastic. You're gonna have a great time.
I'm looking forward to it. This was the wife's birthday gift. So it's
Simple Plan was like my favorite band as a kid. So
Simple Plan is the one that actually like we're least looking forward to. She's a huge Offspring fan. I really like Sum 41. Simple Plan is like the one that's like, oh, okay, cool. They're there. Awesome. But regardless, they're there and we're looking forward to it. So we have a little date night tonight for the first time. And sometimes we have date nights, but
Love it.
it's been coming since March, since her birthday. So looking forward to getting out of the house and going to this concert.
yes.
Lovely.
That's
Lovely.
our
I
that's
hope you
our
have a
that's
good
our big
time.
evening plans. That's our big evening plans going to this. All right, everybody. SP3, let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me, SP3, aka Jerome YouTube, aka the Triple C of FMC, aka the African American Dragon, at True Hill SP3. That is TRU, no E. And something will be up on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel sometime soon. I'll be back on there probably tomorrow. We'll do a review of the All-Star Junior Festival and Multiverse United. Either today, tomorrow. Check it out. True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Trying to push the 10,000 subscribers. Only 1,500 away.
There you go. Everyone go check out True Heel Heat. Celebrate milestones over there. And yes, everyone subscribe. Everyone subscribe and support the pals over there.
And the
especially-
6-year anniversary from this past
There you
weekend. Yes, that's it.
There you go. Share Delaware, do you have anything to plug?
No.
Fair. I don't blame you. All right. Everyone just check out all the stuff from Fightful Overbooked. We talked about eating ass on our wrestling show yesterday, and for some reason, why are you cringing? They did this on a wrestling show. And
I
as
know.
the premier ass-eating journalist in professional wrestling, I asked the
Hmm.
tough questions. People
You
got mad at me.
ass.
for
There's
this.
tough questions.
People got mad at me for this. I'm sorry that I'm out here getting the hard-hitting questions. Who cares about contracts and backstage news and
You're really
arrests?
digging in the trenches for that one.
We're in the weeds. We are in the weeds. You know, weeds have different meanings sometimes. You can get a yeast infection if you get too far in the weeds.
Don't leave with your tongue.
That'll do it, everybody. No better way to end it than that. Bye, everyone.